A very good evening, all of you. Welcome to Super Coaching by Textbook. So, friends, today we'll be discussing about a very interesting topic, agriculture in India, from the perspective of geography. Right? As you can see in this picture, agriculture, it's a very important economic activity in India, which is feeding so much amount of our population. And if I'm not wrong, the geography of our country actually favors the varieties of agriculture which we can practice in our beautiful country. Be it the monsoonal agriculture, which we call it as intensive subsistence, or else the dryland farming, or else the varieties of agricultures which we find like the the mechanized cultivation of wheat to a certain extent, which is being latestly being developed, or else you can talk about the plantation agricultures of varieties of crops like spices. All such kind of things are actually observed in our country, right? So without any wastage of time, let us discuss about all these kind of things. I hope the audio video is clear. Everyone, I hope that is clear to you. Let me check the comments. Okay. So if you see this, agriculture in India, it's a product of, as the pictures talks about the cultivation. What do you mean by agriculture? In general, agriculture means nothing but it derived from the Latin word ager meaning soil and culture means cultivation. So in a simple words, it is nothing but what? Cultivation of soil. What is agriculture? Cultivation of soil, right? So if you give by a definition, agriculture is an economic activity which involves growing crops. Is it involves growing crops? Not just crops, but also the fruits, the vegetables, the flowers, and even animal husbandry, rearing of livestock. We see people in our country handling cattle, they handle the cattle. It is regarded as an important secondary source for them. So, keeping these two things into considerations, we can talk about not just the typical growth of crops, but also the fruits and vegetables, flowers, rearing livestock, fisheries, all these things, even fisheries. I would say they will come under agriculture in India. In fact, it is nothing but a very important primary activity wherein which you are using the natural resources available in the land and extracting them and converting into a so-called product. So here most of the agriculture is actually cultivated from the soil. You can see the varieties of agricultures which have been increasing of late. You have the modern things like hydroponics, all such kind of things which we would be discussing. Not just the traditional ones, but also the modern ones. So before we discuss about this, what do you think that which factors will affect agriculture in India? Or before we discuss that, understand the significance of in India. You know that agriculture in India has been practiced for a variety of things, and India is the second largest producer. You know what? It is the second largest producer of rice, wheat, sugarcane, cotton, groundnuts, fruits and vegetables. So that is the reason why I'm trying you. We are blessed with geography for agriculture. India is blessed with vast amount of resources for cultivation of varieties of agriculture for which we have this kind of an outcome. Second largest producer of rice in the world, wheat in the world, sugarcane, cotton, groundnuts, fruits, vegetables. For example, rice, the monsoonal lands, be it country like India, Bangladesh, China, southern China especially, Vietnam, all these countries are known for rice. Wheat, be it India in the north, now northern part of India especially, or else even the temperate grasslands of the world, say the things like the regions of the regions of steppes, pustas of Hungary, all such kind of things are also known for wheat cultivation. Then sugarcane, cotton, groundnuts, fruits, vegetables, all these are the varieties of India is the second largest producer of these things. Also, India is the largest producer of pulses, jute, pulses, the kinds of varieties of pulses we have, the dals which we eat, right? Whether it is the tur dal, urad dal, okay, all such kind of things. India is the leading producer of jute as well. And not just that, apart from these things, we grow a variety of crops, be it the millets, all those kind of things. So let us understand what factors which will be impacting the agriculture in India. What factors which affect the agriculture? I can divide this into many factors. One such factors I will divide into the physical factors, or you can say geographical factors. Geographical factors. One of the important geographical factor in terms of affecting every crop in our country, it is the climate. In fact, the cropping patterns of our country is determined by the type of climate. What are the major elements of climate which we observe in terms of understanding of agriculture? There are two elements. One is the major element of climate, temperature. The other one is rainfall. For example, temperature. Because of this itself, rice is grown in South India. Because of this only, wheat is grown in North India. Wheat is a crop which is grown in the present months like winter, right? January, winter, rabi crop. Whereas rice is a South Indian crop. It needs more heat. That is typically it is grown in the Kharif season, June, July, August, September. And it is also grown in certain areas of in India, even in the winter season as of now, say in the southern parts of our country, right? So that is the thing. And they also need more amount of rainfall. Depending on the variety of rains which is received, India is known for variety of crops as well. I think if you go to Rajasthan, if you are going on a drive on Rajasthan, whenever you go to a dhaba, the things which you will observe is, what do you observe? Bajra ki roti, right? The millets, right? Bajra. Where do you think that bajra is available? Bajra is found in the regions where there is less amount of rainfall, right? There is lesser amount of rainfall. So usually you will find bajra in places where there is less amount of rainfall, right? Similarly, you can talk about, okay, this is Rajasthan. Similarly, in the regions of the dryland areas, you have jowar. This is also a dryland one in the, what is shown that, rain shadow region of Western Ghats. I have explained now where you find lesser amount of rainfall. What if there is more rainfall? If there is more rainfall, say the regions where there is more amount of rainfall and good amount of temperature, you can see rice, you can see sugar cane, you can see even jute. See, either rainfall or it will be irrigation, no? Irrigation. So you will have rainfall or else it could be irrigation. Either of these things, anything can happen, right? Anything can be taken as a criteria here. So the geographical factors, climate. In fact, based on the climate itself, the cropping patterns are determined. Variations of cropping patterns, changes in it can have disastrous consequences in the regions like northern India, right? For example, the typical pollution of agriculture pollution which we see in Delhi in the months of October, November, one long historical reason I can give it is, why do you think that you have provided the regions it is an impact of starting rice in a region which is not known for rice. Yes, we know the context of Green Revolution back then, the significance out of that, there is no debate about that. But having said that, this is also an outcome which we need to face because of that. So, understanding of a climate of a region and accordingly starting about that particular kind of crops is very, very, very important, right? Are you following, my dear? Right, good. Then the next important thing we also have is soil. Soil. See, soil is very important in terms of the nutrients which are being provided to the crop, be it around the typical nutrients like, soil is very important. The nutrients like, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, NPK. Let me change this. Nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. We also have various variety of things, other things as well, right? Other things as well. So micronutrients, zinc, that is also needed. So macro and micronutrients. So depending on the nature of the soil, where do you think certain soils are there? Accordingly, certain crops are very much grown. So for example, when you talk about soils, you can say cotton, very much conducive in the black soils. In fact, the regal soils, black cotton soils is what we call the regions which are found out of the Deccan lava plateau. You will see that cotton is very much grown there. Not just that, you will also see that in the red soils, jowar is grown. Jowar is grown. And you will see that in the laterite soils, you will see variety of, spices, coffee, tea in the laterite soils. So soils is also having a huge role to play in terms of things. Not just that, the third important factor, geographical factor, I would say, is topography. Topography will determine extent of the extent of the water, how the water is being moved, what is the extent of soil erosion, all these kind of things. Even the topography impacts the things in terms of altitude, in terms of the slope. For example, when I talk about the shivaliks, right? When you talk about the shivaliks, in the shivaliks, because of the terrain itself, tea plantations are produced. Be it the regions of Darjeeling, where you find the tea cultivations, or it in terms of, in terms of the Assam, you will find that the altitude and the slope that will be determining that. The moment you come out of the topography into the plains, that is where you will find the typical other crops like rice and all. So topography also determines. And if you have observed a concept called dunes, Dehradun, you will find that there, because of the topography, the rice is extensively cultivated there. You can give such kind of examples as well. See, this is the geographical factors. I am discussing about factors affecting agriculture from a geographical point of view. Having said that, is it these physical factors are alone not the reason in the present era? Not just that, we have many other factors as well. The other factors which can affect agriculture, maybe from the economic point of view, you can say the institutional factors, right? Institutional factors. What is an institution here? Anyone? Institution? The land tenure, the size of the holdings, or else you can talk about the variations, the impacts of variations of land reforms. So institution here is the land. So here we talk about the land, the tenure, the land tenure, the size of the holdings. Usually The more the size of the holdings, the better is the risk appetite. If you go into that is there is a demand for cooperative farming. Why do you think there is a demand for cooperative farming? Because of the size of the holdings. That is there, right? Then infrastructural factors. See, I will not be discussing that much in detail. Maybe you would say then it is economy then. Definitely yes. Infrastructure factors nowadays, this is a very, very crucial role to play. Be it the power, be it the irrigation, right? Or be it the road development, availability of markets, godowns, APMC mandis, agriculture producing marketing committees. All these are very, very important. In fact, among these kind of things, the whole talk about the agriculture laws is about what? Infrastructure. Ultimately, the agriculture laws in our country, the ones which have become a controversy, to a certain extent, they're actually trying to provide infrastructure by allowing the private sector. Yes, we have some issues in that which we can resolve by kind of proper debate, discussions and all. But generally, you'll find that the whole idea is how can you increase our value chain? So that is, you can increase the value chain by having proper storage facilities, especially of things like, cold storage. Because of cold storage facilities and all, the infrastructure can be provided to our government, to our farmers at different places. And if you see such kind of things, it will actually add value, and ultimately it will be benefiting the common man. But the problem is that infrastructure is very selectively available only for few farmers at few states, that to few parts of that particular state. That is the tragedy, isn't it? So in fact, the present focus, when you talk about these things, in fact, we are focusing on infrastructure post harvest, not the pre harvest. See, which crop to choose, geography. Once you have chosen how to add value, that we are concentrating now. Then you also have around technological factors. See, technological factors. There is whole debate about technology introduction in terms of pre-harvest. For example, the hybrid variety of seeds. Yes, green revolution successful, but there are some challenges. Then you also find some other factors of technology. There is also a challenge with there. For example, the seeds. When you are talking about seeds, now you are changing the agent. Before the technology was introduced, how do you think that farmers are getting that seeds? They're getting the seeds from their own produce, whereas now it is not the factor. But now in some of the hybrid seeds and all, you are dependent on some MNC. That is where another challenge which is coming up. All such kind of things together will be having an impact. What our objective about factors affecting agriculture? I have given a brief overview. Have you got understood about all these kind of things, my dear? Any doubts you have? Let me see some kind of a comments. Right? Okay. Yes, Ishika, I think now I have seen that your comment. Laterite soils is about the heavy rainfall region. Definitely yes. Right. Moving forward, then when you talk about an additional topic, I'm just giving an idea. Maybe this talks about a new topic itself. We'll discuss one day with the land use pattern in India. The land use pattern in India. Right. So if you talk about the land use patterns, there are a variety of land use patterns. How the total availability of land, 3.28 million square kilometers, whatever the total availability of land in India is there. If you assume that as 100%, a major chunk of this is barren and unculturable land. You can see the barren and unculturable land. You can talk about it is about net area sown. You can divide that into forest, area under non-agriculture uses, permanent pastures and other grazing lands, lands under miscellaneous tree, cultivable wasteland, fallow land other than current fallow, net area sown. Current fallow is which you have kept it as vacant without any usage of that for that particular region. What is the difference between net area sown and all? We will discuss this. Maybe this is a very broad topic. We will discuss about all these parameters in another video, right? So just I'm trying to understand you, to put you into a structure of when you talk about agriculture, how you are using agriculture. So you can talk about the current fallow. You can talk about fallow lands and other fallow lands. This is where you will find miscellaneous tree crops, grooves. Okay, all these kind of things we'll be discussing it. Then let us discuss about the major crops of India. Which crops are important? Which crops are, every crop is important in the present era because the idea is very simple. You produce different varieties because our nature provides that opportunity. Grow that, increase the value chain, and ultimately make farmers as a very good enterprise. That is the objective, isn't it? So when you see about the climatic types and all, based on that, cropping seasons are there in our country. You can see that one such cropping season is the Kharif season. Okay, which color is suitable on this darkness? Maybe I would say it should be a lighter one. Okay, maybe a black is also good. So here you can see the Kharif season. It is sown in the months of June, July. I think yellow is suitable itself, right? Yeah, sown in the months of June, July. That is a month of rainfall season. The most important crop, sown then and harvested by around September, October. Majority of the crops which are grown here are rice, maize, jowar, urad, cotton, so groundnut, soybean. Right. This is the majority. Usually the typical areas is the entire country. In fact, I would say that this would be the major area you can see. You can also see that rice is grown in the regions of the Ganga plains, be it around Punjab, Haryana, Yamuna, all such kind of things you will find it. And you will also find that, see, rice is grown in northern India along with many parts of India. In fact, rice is the most important crop of the Kharif season. Moving forward, Rabi. Rabi, sown during October, December. In fact, between the Rabi season and the Kharif season, there is a gap of around 15 days. And these 15 days are the ones which are very, very crucial for amount, cutting the residue of the crop residue of the Kharif crop for the crop, for the soil to be ready for the next sowing of wheat in the regions of Punjab, Haryana, Western UP, which is the reason why the stubble burning is leading to the pollution in Delhi. Right. Then keeping this into considerations, you can talk about it is a wheat which is majorly grown in the Rabi season. Barley is grown, gram is grown, mustard. In fact, wheat and mustard, very, very important Rabi crops. Also remember, is rice grown in Rabi season? Rice in Rabi? Definitely yes. Where? South India. It is grown in the southern Indian country, southern Indian states, because that is where temperatures are still warm enough. Say Tamil Nadu, very much warm enough, even in the months of present month of January, December as such. Then you have the Zaid season, which is the season of the extreme rainfall, extreme heat. Fruits and vegetables are grown. Mostly it is about the seasonal fruits, vegetables, and also remember some kind of fodder crops. Especially you can talk about some fodder crops which are meant for the animals and all. You will be providing that will be grown during the Zaid season, and this is mostly in the typically in the north and the northwestern. And in the southern states where there is irrigation available, there is still rice is grown. That's why rice we do call what? It is a 3-season crop, right? Hope you all have understood these ideas. Hope you have understood the context which we are trying to provide. So that is about agriculture. Until we meet next time, it's a goodbye to all of you again, right? So we'll meet again tomorrow at the same time. So until then, you can join in my Telegram channel for latest updates as such, where you can have directly interact with me. Not just that, tomorrow I'm coming up with monitoring of all the previous year questions where you can check them. Hope you can have a wonderful thing. That's it for today. Thank you.